Hi, I'm Tracy.
I'm April, and this is Killer Spirits.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
This is what happens when we record 2 in one day.
Y'all. Oh, we already had one cocktail today.
Oh, man.
And it was a big cocktail.
Actually, it was really big. So make sure you listen to episode 20. It was fucking delicious.
It was so good.
Like, I've never had a cocktail like that, nor have I made one like that.
Mm-mm.
So
I never pick the sweet ones off the menu.
no. And well, I do. I do like the sweet ones sometimes, but yeah. And it was so beautiful and red.
It really was.
My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine.
I think that is an actual song.
We were laughing because I turn our volume off during most of the theme song.
But I still like to sing.
But we always dance to it.
Yeah.
Or like we orchestrate it with our hands.
I do a little opera.
Yeah, she does a little opera. And we were laughing because I was thinking, wouldn't that be so funny if I just cut the actual audio out and just had you doing opera?
That'd be actually really cool.
It would be funny.
I'll do it someday.
Someday.
I think it has to be a martini day, though.
Yeah. But you could actually probably sing good opera.
You mean me personally?
Yeah, like it would probably sound good.
Oh, thanks.
If I did it, it would sound like ass.
That's not true.
It would be a complete joke. But if you did it would probably sound pretty good.
You're funny. Well, welcome
to episode 21.
We're in 21. I'm so excited to be here on episode 21.
We're again legal in episodes to drink.
Oh, yeah. Now we're like drinky legal.
It's our birthday. Not really her birthday, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah. So I'm excited about your cocktail because I am not a champagne person. I am a Prosecco person.
Right.
But
they are different.
They are different. And I feel like I should probably do a side-by-side soon to see what exactly it is that I like about Prosecco versus champagne, because I'm never like champagne.
Well, here's the difference I see. Minus all the regional and, technical aspects of it. Champagne to me has more of a specific flavor, whereas Prosecco is crisp and clean.
Yeah.
Whereas like champagne is more like a Chardonnay-ish flavor where it's like rounder. And Prosecco is crispier.
Got it.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like Prosecco kind of has like a little peach element to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
But this drink that you've made with champagne.
Because
we're talking about France today.
Yes. Actually, not true champagne.
Oh, this isn't true champagne?
It is
sparkling wine.
Chandon.
Oh, because true champagne only comes from that specific region of France.
So it is champagne grapes, but not grown in Champagne. They're grown in California.
Got it.
So it's a sparkling wine technically.
So basically you are
a fucking asshole.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say that.
I am faking it.
I was going to say you have like the bootleg version.
Yeah. But it's still good. Chandon has a good winery.
No, this is really good. I'm enjoying this.
So this is a French recipe for a French 75.
Yeah.
Basically. And the recipe is... I guess I should say the name of it. We're calling this the Catacombs Martini. Because we're talking about the French catacombs today.
Yes, I'm so excited about this.
Me too. I know literally nothing about the French catacombs.
I had to take a break from some of the whoo-hoo that we did. I don't know what that sound was.
What was that? Like the creepy, gross stuff.
Like the chicken coop murder. Oh, yeah. Like it really wears on you when you're like doing deep dives into it. And this was actually really fun to research.
Cool. That's good.
I had a good time.
I'm happy. So this recipe is, I made 2 drinks. So I did 2 ounces of gin. I used the Sipsmith gin, which has a really beautiful goose on the front of it. And it's really good gin.
It tastes delicious.
It is. 1 ounce.
Don't be sleeping on the gin.
Don't be sleeping on the gin. We told you. So this is a very good recipe when you're introducing yourself to gin. If you think you're a gin hater, make this and let me know how you feel.
I feel like you need a shirt that says gin hater on it.
Gin hater? No, I'm a gin lover.
Gin lover.
Yeah. 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1 ounce of simple syrup, and 3 ounces, or until you fill your glass, of champagne or other sparkling wine. And I garnish with 2 raspberries.
Very simple recipe too.
Yeah, very easy. So you do like, you do it all in a shaker with ice.
Yeah.
Was what I meant to say.
Not the champagne part though.
No, leave
you
the champagne
do the
out.
other part in the shaker, pour it in
Float
your
the
glass,
champagne.
then float your champagne on the top.
So it's kind of like a take on a mimosa, sort of.
It kind of is.
The orange
this is
juice
better because
is
I'm not really into
lemon.
mimosas.
Him either.
I think this is better.
Yeah.
And I think that if you were having a nice dinner party, I mean, you know, if you want to entertain out in the world, you could make this very simple drink and it seems very high end to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, it's dare I say, bougie. It's a little bougie.
And the good thing about recipes that have very simple ingredients and then a float on top is that you can make them in big batches.
Yeah.
So, you know, if your parts or your ratios, you could make like a pitcher of this, dole it out, and then float with champagne. Yeah. Very simply.
Very simple.
50 people, if you wanted to.
Wow. Don't have that many people.
And it would be like very fancy.
Yeah.
People would talk about it. Especially if you have these cute little... Oh, they all fell off. These cute little picks with diamonds in them.
I know. We got diamond picks.
We're fans.
We're getting so... We're fans. Just shorten everything. Mm-hmm. We're fans now. Mm-hmm. We're fans in France.
I'm with it. I'm really excited to hear this one.
Yeah, so this one's fun. Let's talk about the French catacombs.
I'm running into stuff.
What are you doing?
We really should not do 2 full cocktails in one day. We're only like... What, 2 hours into our day?
Only?
It's 3.
Oh.
We started at like 1.
Oh, jeez. Look at us.
We're throwing them back. And we did a test cocktail that was shit.
Oh, God. Tell them about the test cocktail.
Okay.
It tasted like booty.
So here's the thing. I think
the thing.
I think the thing that tastes like straight booty is the razzmatazz. I think that's what tastes like shit.
Okay, so here's my thing.
It.
Razzmatazz is supposed to basically be like a Chambord knockoff.
People said that the taste was indistinguishable.
I don't believe it. I think we just need to break down and buy some Chambord.
I'll buy a little one.
Do a freaking side-by-side blind test. See which one we like better. Because this is the second drink we tried with razzmatazz blah, 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 and we did not like it.
It was shit. I tried to do a peanut butter and jelly shooter, and it was awful.
No, it's just not good.
It's bad.
And we did a whole video on it, and then we tasted it, and we were like, whoo!
Yeah. Yeah, we recorded the whole video, and we were like, oh, this is great. We'll love.
We would never give you guys something like that. Trust me.
No.
We take this very seriously.
We will reshoot it.
We will find something else because we want to be able to enjoy it and drink it. And if we do not enjoy it and want to drink it, we're not going to give it to you.
No.
That is our promise.
And I'm not shy about dumping alcohol down the sink if I don't like it.
Oh, I dumped that shit. It was such a big pour, too.
I know.
was like, oh my God, it'd be flat on the floor if I drink this
Oh my gosh. It was a lot of vodka.
Yeah, and the color was supposed to be this really pretty lavender color, and it just looked like dirty water. I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, I just had a thought.
Oh.
The difference for me between champagne and Prosecco is the hay flavor you get in champagne.
Hey.
Because the hay flavor is also in Chardonnay.
You mean like actual hay?
Yes. Like barnyard hay.
Maybe that's why I don't like the champagne.
Because Chardonnay has the same thing.
I do like Chardonnay sometimes.
And Sauv Blanc has the same.
Interesting.
And also some white blends. You'll get a hay, like a grassy hay flavor. I have a white that's open right now that has that flavor.
Okay.
That's the difference.
I think it would actually be fun if we did some videos of like taste testings. Because I have done that with Jason recently where he's given me... Because again, I thought I was a gin hater. Mm-hmm. Realized I need to change my shirt to gin lover. Mm-hmm. Because he started doing some blind taste tests with me of different gins. And I'm like, am I literally drinking straight gin? And he said yes. And I'm like, this is bonkers. So good. Mm-hmm. I loved it. So, yeah.
So, yeah, if you like go to take a sip and like really breathe in through your nose.
Botanicals.
You can get that like waft of hay. Like, it's hard to explain, and it tastes good.
Yeah.
But it's maybe not everybody's taste.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why you don't like champagne.
That could be.
Just a brilliant moment.
Oh my God, she had a thought. And she thought it out
and
loud.
My allergies are really like not bad today.
Oh, mine were terrible yesterday.
So I'm like really able to smell.
Oh.
Because usually my nose is like 95% plugged. So.
Is that how you just live your life?
Yeah, it's my life.
Oh.
And I can't take, this is funny. So I take allergy pills that are non-drowsy allergy pills. One lasts maybe 5 hours.
That's not long enough.
And then if I take another one, I will literally pass out.
Oh, so like 2 non-drowsy equals drowsy?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Like knocked out, like I will fall asleep in this chair.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically,
I
just have
suffer
to
through.
choose which 5 hours I want to be good. And that's when I take my allergy pill.
Oh my gosh.
So, sometimes it's for the podcast. Sometimes it's in the morning because I can't breathe.
Yeah, you got to choose your time, baby.
You never know.
Well, are you ready to talk about the catacombs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm excited. I wish we had like pictures up. I want to see pictures.
I know. I will definitely put some pictures up because it's very, very cool. And I will say this. So I did visit France, I think, in 2004? 2005.
Okay.
No, I think it was 2004. And I didn't really know anything about the catacombs back then at all. And I'm very upset because I would have gone, obviously, because this is definitely my jam. And, I've always really been into history and stuff. So I'm not sure why I didn't know about it back then. But I have, of course, learned about it, not just now, but, between 2004 and now, I've knew about it.
Right.
And I've always been really fascinated by it. And I didn't know a lot of the history. So it is really interesting, what we'll talk about today. So I'll tell you.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
The only pictures I've seen are the ones with bones.
That's what's there. All right. So Paris, so beautiful. I love Paris.
Paris?
It is such a gorgeous city. I love it.
We have one listener from Paris. No, from France. Not Paris.
Hi.
Hi, French listener.
Hello. Oh my gosh, if you're here.
Whoever it is, downloads like every episode right after we post it. So
I love you. We both love you. Adore you. Well, I'm talking about your city today, which I do absolutely love. And I have a picture with Jason and I. I guess there's like these 3 things that are like the most romantic in France. And if you stand in this one spot, you can see all 3 of them at the same time. Oh. So like one of them is a fountain and then the Eiffel Tower and then there's something else. Obviously, I can't remember because it was years ago, but I have a picture of Jason and I kissing there because, you have to. Though I could never get to the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh.
I was terrified.
Oh.
I went halfway up. I have I fear heights. And the elevator goes ka-kunk, ka-kunk, ka-kunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the Empire State Building is too.
Not anymore.
Oh, no?
I was just at the Empire State Building last year.
It's not bad?
No, it's not bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was like a death trap when I went.
No, it actually, they made it
Maybe
like it's a Disneyland right now.
Oh.
Like if you look up on the ceiling, they're like, and how we're going up. And it's like,
really?
Yeah. And there's like all these graphics and you're just like, this is not what I recall from my last visit here.
It looked like a bank. First of all.
It does. But now it's more like Disneyland-ish. I'm not really into it.
And then you had to get off one and go on the other. And it was like,
that was the old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy, scary.
So back to Paris.
So maybe the elevators are better at the Eiffel Tower now.
That's true. They might be.
You never know.
So Paris is known as La Ville Lumière, or the City of Lights. Paris is not called the City of Lights because of litty boulevards and bridges, even though we might think that litty. So the real reason for the city's name actually stems from the mid-17th century when Louis XIV, also known as I think it's Louis, I don't know. Someone tell me.
Louis?
Is it Louis or Louis?
It's got to be Louis.
I feel like when I listen to British people, they say Louis.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Well, the Brits would know, I think.
I'm going to say Louis. So Louis XIV, also known as Louis the Great, or the Sun King, which I'd actually never heard that.
Sun King? When
he was on the throne. So after a prolonged period of war and domestic civil strife, the king was committed to restoring the public's faith in law and order, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And so on March 15th, 1667, Louis XIV made Gabriel Nicolas de la Reynie the lieutenant general of police, entrusting him with the task of making Paris more safe around that time. So in addition to quadrupling the number of policemen in the city, one of the measures was to install more lighting.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously back then
Less
they didn't
crime.
have a lot of lighting. So lanterns were placed on almost every main street, and residents were asked to light their windows with candles and oil lamps because, with light comes happiness and less crime.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, is that why they called him the Sun King?
Possibly. I
Because
don't
he'd be-
actually know the history behind that, so I
be
have no
lighting it
idea.
up.
He'd be litty. So the idea was to prevent lawbreakers from dodging the police or hiding in dark alleys around that time.
Right.
And it would reduce the crime rate, like I said. So from here on, the city gained the nickname La Ville Lumière, the city of light. Which is kind of cool. I didn't really know that about that. And at the time, Paris was one of the first European cities to adopt street lighting.
It had to have been so scary with no lights.
Yeah, I mean, I know in our episode Burke and Hare...
Sorry.
Excuse you.
Sorry.
we talked about that, where they just really didn't have any lights, and that was in the 1700s.
I'm trying to think of going down a dirt road with no lights.
I know now when we
It's
go
fucking
somewhere
dark.
with no lights, I'm like, oh my god,
Oh my
I can't
God.
do this. So let's go way back further than the 1600s. During the time the Romans occupied Paris, it was called Lutetia. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like I've met someone named Lutetia before.
Or Letitia.
Yeah, it's actually a very cool name. Back in 52 BC or CE, however you want to say it.
What?
Well, before Christ or Common Era. Just depends on which way you say it.
I didn't know there was two.
One's more of like a Christian way of saying it. One's the non-Christian way of saying it.
Okay.
So long before the Romans arrived, Paris and the surrounding area were covered by a tropical sea. And several meters of sediment and mud accumulated at the bottom of the sea and became limestone over time.
Ooh.
A great variety of sediments are found in Paris. And since antiquity, they have supplied large quantities of building materials in the form of sand, sandstone, clay, and gypsum.
Interesting. I would never think that France is like an exporter of building material.
Well, it's not really an exporter. It's just found there.
Oh.
That's just limestone that just was created naturally over
Right.
time. Yeah. So Lutetian limestone, also known as Paris stone, supplied the major part of building stone until the early 20th century.
Huh.
This high-quality stone began to be used in antiquity for the monuments of Lutetia and was obtained from open pit quarries dug into natural outcroppings in the valley. So after being partially abandoned in the Moravian times, I know I'm saying this wrong. Moravian. Basically, that was 1,200 years ago.
Oh my
okay, in case you guys were wondering.
Okay.
Which was 5th century. Okay, until 751. Extraction started once again in the Middle Ages when the major Paris work sites were put in place for the buildings of churches, the Louvre Castle, city walls, and that sort of thing.
Cool.
Okay, so they just used the limestone basically to make all the shit.
Right.
And really, Lutetia, the Roman, was just it wasn't like this grand city. It was just this little tiny city. I think there was like 10,000 people there.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. So, I mean, the Romans were really everywhere first, I feel like, before anyone else.
Yeah.
So they were there, and they started digging this limestone. That's kind of when it started. So as the old quarries deepened, they progressively evolved into an underground operation with the digging of galleries to reach the banks that were furthest away in the rock. And the turned pillars were put in place to support the ground, and during the 15th century, a well system made it easier to bring up the stones. So if you think about how heavy limestone is, just think about doing that in like the 15th century. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. So this was also much cheaper and easier than trying to bring limestone in from other places outside the city.
Oh, yeah.
So they're basically just digging it from inside the city. And Notre Dame was also built from the stone carved from these mines.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So the stone walling and filling method was developed in the late Middle Ages, and it consists in extracting all the stone from the quarry without leaving a supporting part, then consolidating with the addition of dry stone pillars known as piliers à bras. I hope I'm saying that right. So between these pillars, stone walls were erected to contain the backfill and make circulation in the quarry easier. Unfortunately, the digging of these quarries was not well regulated by the Parisian authorities at all.
Okay.
I mean, you're building tunnels under the city, and common sense tells you that's going to probably weaken the ground above.
Right.
If you don't have a lot of support. I just hit my cocktail.
Do not knock your cocktail over.
Don't knock the cocktail. So, and you know what happens then? Basically, collapse.
Right.
Right?
Your streets fall.
Your streets fall, which is not a good thing. So the first major collapse happened in 1774. One of the tunnels connecting the mines collapsed, creating a gaping hole that swallowed houses and people on the avenue above it.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's like a sinkhole.
There goes my papers.
Y'all hear that?
I'm just throwing things all
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that is the first thing that happened in 1774, which is kind of, I don't know if there was collapses before that. I feel like, why would it take so long for the first collapse? But maybe it was just so much digging going on for so long, it finally just weakened at that point. So
I can't believe they just never thought about it.
I don't think they did. So over the next few years, more disasters happened. And finally, the king was like, we should probably close this shit because it's stressing me out.
Yeah,
and
no
things are
kidding.
collapsing. I mean, people died.
People are just getting sucked into holes.
Right. So Louis XVI commissioned an architect by the name of Charles Axel Guillemot. That's probably, I don't know. I'm probably fucking it up. I'm so sorry,
Whatever.
French people.
Just email us if you have.
I know. I try. I took
tell us.
4. No, actually, I think I took 4 years of French.
You did?
I did.
Took 0 French.
I took 4 years of French, with Madame Parker, and I'm sure that she'd be rolling her eyes at my my pronunciation right now. I'm sorry, Madame Parker. So he commissioned this architect to explore, map, and stabilize the quarries, and Charles headed the newly created Inspectorate General of the Quarries, and they got to work on doing this. So many of the tunnel networks were isolated at this time, so what they did is they dug more tunnels to connect them and to kind of help map and connect the tunnels better because they were just like all these tunnels just randomly
all over the place.
Just fucking all over. So work went on until about 1780. By the 18th century, Parisian cemeteries such as Les Innocents, the largest cemetery in Paris, were basically becoming overpopulated. So there were improper burials, there were open graves, there were unearthed corpses. I mean, what a mess. Could you imagine? Could you imagine our cemeteries being like that right now?
Just walking down the street and being like, fuck, there's another dead guy on the street.
Jesus, look at all those bodies over there.
Oh, God.
So obviously people living close to these places like these cemeteries began
Not
complaining.
healthy.
It smells. Okay?
It smells like dead bodies.
Yeah, there's a strong stench of decomposing flesh, and also there's a risk of the spread of disease.
Right,
This is just not good. So in 1763, an edict was issued by Louis XV banning all burials from the capital. Okay? But the church did not wish to disturb or move the cemeteries. Okay? It was like a religious issue. Like, we're not moving the cemeteries. They opposed this. So everyone just kind of sat around for the next however many years with no solution.
Oh, cool.
Wow, it kind of sounds like what we fucking do now.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like, I don't know. Let's just wait until somebody else comes up with a good idea.
yeah. Or let's just wait till there's a disaster. That's usually what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's just do that. So the situation persisted until about 1780 when an unusually long period of spring rain caused a wall around the Les Innocents cemetery to collapse, resulting in the spillage of rotting corpses into a neighboring property.
Spillage.
It was a spillage.
Oh,
like a
gosh.
tidal wave of decomposing bodies just coming at you.
Why?
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
You're just like walking down the street with your baguette.
Yeah.
And
With your
then
baguette.
And then just a fucking a decomposing arm comes flying at you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the French authorities were finally like, crap. We actually have to do something.
I guess we have to do something.
Yeah, we got to do something. So the king ordered Guillemot to find a solution. He's like, look.
He's the architect.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're an architect. We need to figure this shit out.
Tech some arcs.
Tech some arcs.
And make it work.
Yeah. So Guillemot was like, tunnels, corpses. Yeah, I think I got a plan here.
Okay.
Yeah. So they started relocating several thousand bodies and bones into the quarry tunnels.
Okay.
Yeah. So Paris authorities chose an easily accessible site that was at the time located outside the capital. It was the former Tomb Issoire quarries under the plain of Montrouge. And I know I'm fucking that all up, but
we try.
I gave it my best.
Yeah.
It's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
You just
did my best.
Yeah. So the first excavations were made from 1785 to 1787. And at first the bones were placed pretty simply at the time. Architects started arranging the bones decoratively and artistically later. They would start putting them in circles and hearts.
So were they using the bones to actually hold up the tunnel?
Well, the tunnels were already there.
Right.
So, yes.
So they were stable enough.
I'm going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
So the walls and pillars were completely lined with tibias, fibulas, and skulls.
That's weird.
It is weird, but really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So above the entrance, which is now the tourist entrance, a sign was placed that reads, "Stop. This is the Empire of Death."
Whoa.
En français, of course.
Of course. We would not know.
Now, to answer your question, there is a barrel, and I say, I'm using air quotes, a barrel of bones that's essentially a barrel-shaped pillar assembled with thousands of bones. And I'll post a picture of this. It's really cool. And this was created in order to support the roof of a room called the Crypt of the Passion. So it does support...
This is so weird.
It's really fucking cool, though.
That's so weird that he thought of that and everybody was like, yeah, it sounds like a reasonable idea. Let's just rip the bodies apart and take their bones.
Yeah. But many of the bodies exhumed had not fully decomposed.
Ugh, stop.
And I'm not done yet. And had reduced basically to large deposits of fat. So this is kind of what happens when you start decomposing. It's called adipocere. And so it's basically corpse wax, they also call it, or palmitic acid.
Oh, sure.
And it was collected and used for candles and soap.
Corpse wax.
Could you imagine using that as soap? Soap for what? Soap for who? What's happening?
Oh, that is... Have you seen Fight Club?
Oh, yes, I have.
He uses the liposuction fat to make soap.
Well, same diff.
I mean, if it works.
Whatever works, people. In 1786, the former Tomb Issoire quarries were blessed and consecrated, and from that point on were known as the Catacombs.
So then this is all signed off by the church. The church is fine with this.
Well, at this point, they don't think they had a choice. Something had to be done.
Oh, okay, I see.
The king was like, "These are my orders."
Right.
I don't know why it didn't sound French at all.
He's Italian.
I don't even know what that was. That was basically...
He sounds like Mario and Luigi.
That was the 3 cocktail accent.
This does not belong to a country. This belongs to an amount of
belongs
beverage.
to nothing, and it belongs to nobody.
That's hilarious.
So in case you're wondering what the word catacombs means, because it is a very cool word, the word catacombs means a subterranean cemetery of galleries with recesses for tombs, or an underground passageway or group of passageways. So the word referred originally only to the Roman catacombs, but now refers to any subterranean receptacle of the dead.
So the French were not the first people to think of this. This was done before.
Oh, the Romans had this.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the Romans were doing this forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the French were just really smart because they're like, we already have this shit.
Right.
Let's utilize it.
We don't have to dig anything.
We have to dig nothing. So that was very,
and
very
the shit's
smart.
falling through.
And the shit's falling through
the ground anyway, so
exactly.
You should build it up.
Yes. So the entirety of the tunnels is about 200 miles.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
The entirety of it is referred to the catacombs, but the part that's open to the public is only about 2 kilometers or 1.2 miles.
Okay.
So that's the part that you can go see. Mm-hmm. But that leaves a shit ton more miles, and most of those do not have bones. It just literally looks like limestone walls.
Oh, okay.
So there's a portion that has the bones in it, but there's also a large portion that doesn't of those 200 miles. 200 miles.
That's a lot.
I can't even wrap my head around that. That's basically weaving all underneath Paris.
That's scary.
It's real. How did I not know this in 2004? It's so cool.
How are they still holding their buildings up and stuff?
Well, I'll get to that too.
Okay.
So it took 2 years for all the bones from the Les Innocents Cemetery to be transferred to the catacombs. Over the following decades, the bones of the dead were removed from the cemeteries around Paris for reburial in the catacombs. The practice of burying the newly dead directly into the catacombs began after the French Revolution. So they didn't even put them in cemeteries anymore. They're like, boop, there you go, catacomb. Catacomb. Also, this included unfortunate guillotine victims. They're like, guillotine, catacomb.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, how many people do you think they have interred down there, April?
Oh, you want me to guess?
Yeah.
It's like how many bubblegum, how many?
I want to see if you're even close.
30,000.
6 million people.
Stop! What? Yeah. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, 6 million people are interred in the catacombs.
People?
6 million.
And for how many years did they bury people there?
Oh, for multiple years. I would probably say until the early 1900s at least.
Oh, so like hundreds of years.
Yeah. So, well, not hundreds. I mean,
100
it started in like 1786 when they started this.
In early 1900s would be.
Yeah. So some of the newest bones are from the French Revolution.
Okay.
While some of the oldest may date back to the Merovingian era, which I'm fucking up again, which was more than 1,200 years ago.
Oh, yeah, because I guess when the cemetery overflowed, they didn't really get to pick whose bones they
So
moved.
they're all disarticulated and scattered.
Oh.
It's not like they're moving full skeletons over and they're like,
right.
This is so-and-so's grave. This is so.
No.
It's basically like, this is just all bones.
Yeah, we don't know. There's just
It's
a bunch of skulls here.
Yeah, it's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
So actually, National Geographic has a really cool article that I was reading. It's called
I bet they do.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
It's called Under Paris, that interviews Philippe Charlier, who is an archaeologist and a forensic pathologist. And he's actually, in the interview, he was able to look at the individual bones and determine how many of the people died and how they lived, which is so cool to me.
Oh, that is
One
cool.
had leprosy that he noticed. One had Malta fever and was possibly a cheesemaker.
How the fuck would you know they were cheesemaker?
Because Malta fever usually struck people who would come into contact with infected animals and their secretions, milk being a secretion.
Oh.
Isn't that fascinating?
I don't have to look that up.
Yeah. I'd never heard of Malta fever.
I didn't know you could get Malta fever from like a cow.
Yeah. Well, we get all kinds of diseases from animals.
That's true.
Obviously.
Look at where we are.
Look at where we're sitting at this moment. So the catacombs has also served as a haven for people during wartime. During the Franco-Prussian War, a socialist insurgency established an autonomous government in the city and had to face the rival French Third Republic, which was established after Napoleon III's abdication. 6,000 of the defeated insurgents hid in the catacombs.
Oh.
So they were all milling around down there.
That's smart.
Yeah. During World War II, the Germans established their bunker within the recesses of the tunnels, and later the head of the resistance built their underground headquarters there too.
Okay.
Yeah. There's all these little nooks and crannies.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine the amount of people that have gotten lost?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and because of this, you had a perfect segue. In 1955, entering the quarries became illegal. Don't you love how it took so long? 1955 was not that long ago in the scheme of things.
They're like, okay, you guys, that's enough.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out of your bobby socks. You're not going in.
Bobby socks.
Did they wear bobby socks in France? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I feel like they were like super cool and hip and they're like,
sure,
smoking at cafes or some shit.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The French.
Yeah, so mostly it became illegal to prevent accidents and people getting lost.
Yeah, because
200 miles.
Yeah, who's not taking like a 12-pack of beers down to the catacombs to your own entrance that nobody really even knows about?
Yeah.
And like partying.
Oh yeah.
Duh.
So illegal or not, this doesn't stop
Oh yeah, no.
people at all.
No.
The peeps.
The peeps.
Be on the creeps.
Let the people party.
Yes. So in 1968, a student protest broke out and turned into a riot. The students used the catacomb tunnels to evade police and reconvene in other parts of the city.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, that down pat. In the 1970s and 80s, a new movement started, and they call themselves cataphiles. These are the catacomb enthusiasts.
So they're like the mine people?
Yeah.
People that explore abandoned mines here?
Yeah, pretty much. So during the 80s, kind of think punk culture. Remember the punk culture of the 80s? And I feel
Punk
like
rock.
it was pretty hardcore in France, too.
Hell yeah.
They look so fucking cool. Oh, my God. I love that I lived through that time. They were amazing. I'm sorry. I just have to digress for a minute.
You were nowhere even close to that, though.
No, I wasn't.
You thought they were
hung
cool.
out. Oh, but those were my friends.
Oh.
Those were literally my friends. I had this friend named Jake. He had the hugest mohawk in his head in like 8th grade. I'll never forget it. And I loved him so much.
Oh.
Yeah, he was so great. It was
So
like
those
the
are
new
your
wave
people,
/ punk. Those were my people, but I didn't do it.
Not even close.
Weird. I was so boring. Though I did wear a beret in 7th grade every day for a year.
Wow.
Just want everyone to know that. And there was a brooch on the front. Okay, bye.
You're basically French.
And it was yellow. I'll never forget
Aww.
this yellow beret that I used to wear.
Your mom was probably like,
I probably thought I was so cool.
You did.
Yeah, I don't know if I
That's
was
pretty
cool.
far removed from the kid with the huge mohawk.
I know, but I hung out with him and loved him. So whatever. I love everyone.
Jake.
Hi, Jake. I know. I wish I could remember his last name. He was so cute. Okay. So yeah, punk culture. So, and then I said, oh yes, my heyday.
In your notes?
It wasn't really that much of a heyday. I was like 13. Come on, people.
Yeah, whatever.
So teenagers discovered they could enter the quarry tunnels from the basement of their schools.
Oh, that's cool.
I never had any experience that cool when I was in school. Can you imagine this?
Yeah.
So they would meet in secret places, hold parties, stage performances, create art, take drugs, sure, other things their parents wouldn't agree with.
Yeah. But you're underground. Nothing counts underground.
Exactly.
There are no rules.
Yeah, so at first no one really noticed or cared. But by the end of the 1980s, most of the city and private property owners had closed the entrances. Oh. Because they were like, look.
Were there like people dying or they were just having fun?
I think they were just having fun at that point. But, but they also started an elite police unit and it was formed to start patrolling the tunnels.
Oh.
Yeah. So at one point, police found one of these underground caverns was transformed into a secret amphitheater.
Hell yeah.
Complete with a giant cinema screen, projection. Okay. Equipment. A couple of films and seats. The neighboring area was revamped into a fully stocked bar, a restaurant, perhaps, yes, where the patrons from the amphitheater would wander over and get a little bit of a snack.
I would go. I would 100% buy a ticket for that. I would go.
You might go, but I'll get into where you may not want to go.
That sounds so fun.
It does actually sound fun. I wouldn't do it.
It's like the most secret clubhouse you could get.
I know, but
is it sketchy?
It's underground and tight spaces.
Oh yeah.
That's true. So, but this is so funny because electric and phone lines had been professionally installed. And so the cops were totally baffled by this. So 3 days later, the police returned with experts from the French Board of Electricity to figure out where the power was coming from. Mm-hmm. The cables had been cut and a note was left behind that read, quote, "Do not try to find us.
Oh, you'll never catch us."
And the mystery remains to this day.
I love it. Some old man just took that to his grave, and it's the best secret he ever kept.
It's like some rich guy probably who was just like...
Probably.
Yeah. That is amazing.
I love it.
So cataphiles have probably dwindled in numbers since the 1980s. I mean, the 1980s was like the Wild West.
Yeah.
But they are still very active.
Oh.
Their main activity is to explore and preserve the ancient galleries, but also they party. They party down there.
Yeah.
One cataphile photographer was quoted as saying, "You guys have no idea what's down there."
Oh.
I know, which makes you want to see, but
Tell
I don't
me
really want to see.
What's down there, though.
I don't know. I'm not a cataphile.
Okay, so
He's
how do they get in?
He's not going to tell you.
So how do they get in if all the stuff's closed except the tourist area?
Oh, there's ways.
There's secret ways.
There's secret ways.
Okay.
They find ways. So a lot of reading I did is there's also this really old train station that you can kind of enter through there. Was closed down, which is kind of another fun place to visit. I heard it's kind of haunty-ish.
This is also very much like an adventure video game, and I want to go.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how people feel when they're going in there.
Yeah.
So there are tons of urban legends associated with the tunnels. secret meetings, neo-Nazi gatherings,
of course,
satanic rites,
yeah,
and of course, ghosts. So legends say you will begin to hear the walls speak if you're in there after midnight.
Hard pass.
And it's the disembodied voices of the dead urging you to go further and deeper into the catacombs until you are lost forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not as fun anymore.
Mm-hmm. So the only really known case of a death, and I say known, I don't know.
Yeah,
there could be more. Down in the catacombs happened in 1793. There was a man named Philibert Asper. He was a doorman at the Val de Grace hospital, and he caught wind of a rumor that there was a secret stash of liquor under a convent. So he set out with only a candle to find it. So maybe he was intoxicated, or maybe the voices lured him deeper into the tunnels, April. But either way, he got lost, and he was found 11 years later, a few steps from the exit. Like, he was so close.
Oh, no. Maybe he had a heart attack or something.
And he had a bottle of liquor in his hand.
Oh, he tried.
So
he really tried.
They identified him by the hospital key ring on his belt.
Oh.
Yeah. So to this day, cataphiles revere Philibert as the guardian, the resident ghostly presence of the cataphiles, and of course, an example of what not to do.
Yeah, right.
So you take a torch and a backup torch.
Yeah.
Okay. They say each year on November 3rd, his ghost haunts the labyrinth of the catacombs.
Wow.
I know, right? So in the early 1990s, a group of cataphiles found a video camera on the ground. The camera had footage on it.
Okay.
And as they watched the footage, you could hear disturbing noises. It became clear that whoever was holding this camera was lost, could not find their way out.
Uh-oh.
And it kind of almost sounded like they were just going like bonkers, like kind of crazy.
Like freaking out?
Yeah, like totally freaking out inside the tunnels. The footage ends abruptly with the video camera dropping on the ground, like into this little puddle of water, and you just see like feet running away from it.
Oh.
And to this day, no one knows who this man is, if he escaped alive, or even if this footage is real. But you can find the video online. You can go find it.
I'm going to.
It's like a minute and a half, I think. It is really creepy.
Yeah.
It's very, very
What
creepy.
year was it?
Early 1990s.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy, huh? In 2017, 2 teenagers aged 16 and 17 were lost in the tunnel for 3 days.
Oh, shit.
They were finally found when the search team brought in dogs, but they had to be treated for hypothermia.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, think about that.
Do they fill with water?
Yes, that's what I'm going to talk about. So, you can actually watch videos on YouTube of the cataphiles. Like, it's kind of secret what they do, but there are videos that you can watch.
They probably just don't show how they get in.
Well, one did. It was under that train thing I told you about. But they make their way through the tunnels that are off limits to tourists. So not the part that you pay for. And it looks, I'm sorry, but it looks like a fucking nightmare. Okay. I would definitely go to the touristy part any day of the week. The other part. So yes, there are very large sections that are filled with water. So they come up to your thighs or higher.
Oh.
So you have to slog through that. They are literally crawling through the tiniest little holes.
Oh, no.
That's what I mean. When you watch the videos of this and you think, oh, that sounds so cool. And then you watch it and it looks terrifying. I mean, I'm not a spelunker, okay? I'll never be a spelunker.
No.
My claustrophobia would kick in so hard. I mean, I would panic and have to get out of there.
You're that guy with the video camera that drops it.
I would be the panic guy with the video camera, like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And it's weird because in that video camera one, actually, it looks like he's like standing in like a hallway. Like it's not even like a small crawly thing. And a lot of the sections are, you could just stand up kind of like you're walking down the hallway of your house.
Right.
But no, there are tons of sections where you are literally crawling through. I'm talking with my hands.
Yeah.
You're literally crawling through these tight little spaces, and it's so weird because like you crawl through these tight little spaces, and then it opens up into this humongous cavern.
Wow.
And then people have painted, and I use the word graffiti, but some of them, I mean, graffiti can be beautiful. Like it is art.
Yeah.
They have really done some beautiful things down there, and did you ever watch Phantom of the Opera?
No.
Well, in Phantom of the Opera, he's like on a boat in this lake or whatever. Mm-hmm. There actually is a lake under the opera house because it's like filled with water under there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And there's fish in there. And I guess they feed them mussels. The staff feeds them mussels.
What?
Yeah. And and also when you're walking through or crawling through these tunnels, there's just these shafts that go down that are just completely filled with water. People will scuba dive down there.
Okay, bye. No, thank you. No. I was thinking it was just like a hallway lined with bones.
Well, and some of it is. That's what I'm talking about. That's the touristy part.
Okay.
Now we've left the touristy part.
Okay.
We've left the 1.2 miles, and we're now wandering the 198 more.
Yeah, I can't do the small spaces.
No, I'm telling you, it sounds cool, and I don't even see how people find their way out. But they do, and they meet down there. It's their thing. I would say there's kind of an understanding, like they don't, if you're going to paint, you don't paint over like old antiquity stuff.
Yeah, you don't,
like they want to preserve
somebody else's mural.
Well, they want to preserve like the old stuff.
Yeah.
And really map out all these tunnels because a lot of them aren't mapped out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy.
Those people are brave.
Yes. So, I talked about the tiny passages and the waterlogged passages. I mean, tunnels like the width of a slim child. Think about that.
No, I don't want to.
Yes. And one YouTube video I watched, oh my God, what is the guy's name? I'll go ahead and give him a plug because it was actually a really good video. I think it was called like Exploring with Joshua or something like that.
That's cute.
Yeah. And he does a lot of stuff, but he was an American and he went to France and he was crawling through these things and they were just like crawling and it was just like there were bones in there. They were just like, and they felt bad because he's like, I don't want to walk on these bones, but they were just like piled in there. It wasn't like the touristy part, but they were just like piled in there. Yeah, no, it's bonkers.
So they definitely lost interest in their architecture part of it. At some point.
I guess so.
And they just started shoving.
They're just like, here we
bodies.
Go. Yeah. I know. Isn't that nuts?
Weird.
Yeah.
So where do they bury French people now?
I don't know. Not the catacombs anymore.
Yeah. Do they just have regular cemeteries?
I'm sure they have regular cemeteries. Okay. Yeah. So since the 19th century, some of the tunnels were used for growing mushrooms.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, as they thrive in the dark, damp conditions. And it started with a man named de Chambray, which is such a cool name, who was exploring the tunnels and saw little mushrooms just growing away in there and was like, what a great idea. Maybe I'll grow my own down here. And then a bunch of people followed suit. So pretty soon the practice was accepted by the French National Society of Horticulture. And now such activity has ceased. People don't really do that anymore.
That's like people who grow pot in the woods in California.
Yeah, except you grow mushrooms in it. But these are actual eating mushrooms, not mushrooms you're going to get high
Drug
on.
mushrooms.
So modern day inspectors continue the work started by Guillemot, which you asked earlier how they're not collapsing.
Yes.
So they do have a group of inspectors. I don't know how many there are, but they do go in the tunnels and make sure that they're not going to collapse.
Oh, so like reinforcing them or
yes.
whatever?
So they are from the Inspection Générale des Carrières, the IGC. That's what they're called.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's their job to make sure Paris doesn't collapse into the quarries. Which is
no kidding.
A really good idea.
Okay, can we rewind and go back to the opera house that's on top of a lake?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm having such a hard time visualizing this.
Yeah, you can look it up and see a video of it. It's like really dark down there, and you know what? They come down like
how down? How down? Where's the floor? Is it to the side? Is it down?
I'm trying to think how many feet it was. I want to say it was like 12 feet deep. It wasn't like super deep lake. But the firemen, I don't know what they're called in France. I forget what they're called. But they actually they go down there and do like simulations and stuff to help them, train.
I'm really having a hard time.
Look it up.
Like, I need to know how thick the floor is and how they're getting down there.
I think they go through the floor. It's like, which is basically the roof.
So it's just like a big hole.
Yeah, it looks like a big open. It looks like a big open cavern, and then you just see the water.
That's so bizarre to me.
It is Very bizarre.
Like,
this is what's so fucking cool about Europe, and nothing in America is like this at all.
Well, America's too new. Like the physics of
America's not new. Our asses here are new.
Well, no, I know you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Architecture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to imagine like the physics of it, and it just like is not making sense to me.
I know. It's
So
very
I'll
cool,
just
though.
have to look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Go to YouTube. YouTube has all.
It just
There's
seems like
so
it would
many
cave
videos you
in.
can watch of people going through the tunnels, and it is really fun to. I went down the rabbit hole because it's fun to watch them, but I could never do it.
No.
Never.
We watch the mine exploring videos sometimes, where they like explore old mines that are abandoned. But those are much bigger. They had to fit like machinery and stuff through, so they're like hallway size.
Okay.
And then they also have like the big caverns because they, drilled up in looking for gold and silver.
Oh yeah.
So I could imagine that part, but some of it I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture it.
Yeah. Watch it. It's really cool.
Okay.
It is really cool. And when I was reading about the cataphiles, though someone was saying cataphils, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But whatever you call yourselves, it's very cool. I couldn't do it, but I slightly envy you.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's this excitement to it. But it's kind of like when you're underground, everyone's equal. That's kind of their thought process. Like nobody is better than anyone else. No one is worse than anyone else.
There's no like ringleader.
It's just like everyone is equal because it's like, all the whole caste system of how, especially I feel like Europe has really had that, more so than America per se, because America is technically so new in that aspect of, Europeans coming over here. But the caste system is like a huge thing, and not so much nowadays, obviously, but yeah, so everyone underground.
I'm sure some of it still remains though.
It does, yeah. I mean, even here it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's equal.
That's cool.
So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty punk rock.
It is very punk rock. Yes, it is. So yeah, so these modern day inspectors still continue to look after the tunnels, and small collapses still happen every year, very small ones, but as recently as 1961, the earth swallowed an entire neighborhood in the southern suburbs, killing 21 people.
No.
So this is like a thing, guys.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
I'm not moving to France. Sorry. It's off my list.
But just don't live in Paris. You could still move to France.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Just don't go where the tunnels are.
That's true.
Yeah. So like I said, you can visit the catacombs. You could buy a ticket. I think I looked online because I'm like, I wonder if they're still doing it with COVID. But it looked like there was like no group things, but you can buy individual tickets still. And so from the street level to the catacombs, you'll descend through a series of rocky strata that date from 45 million years ago.
Wow.
Which is so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So buy a ticket.
Buy a ticket.
Go to the catacombs.
Are we going to do that on our trip to France and Europe?
I will do the touristy part.
Okay.
I feel like that would be safe.
Oh, yeah. I'm not doing the secret part.
Yeah. And then you could see because that's where all the bones are lined up and like up on the ceiling and,
That's so creepy.
And it's like you look at them and you think these are actual people who lived and had a life
and now are just like drywall.
And now they're just,
it's so weird.
It's so weird. But like it just speaks to me in some weird way. I don't know. I love it. I love it so much. It's definitely something I would want to see.
We're adding it to our list.
Yeah.
We have a long trip to take.
We do. And it's funny because when I was watching, I think it was the Exploring with Joshua, he's like, I'm not going to go to the, the touristy part. I hate tours. And I'm like, okay, Joshua, just because I pay to go somewhere and you don't pay to go somewhere, you're still a fucking tourist. I'm sorry to tell you, you're still a tourist down in the catacombs.
You're not a French person.
Yeah, you're still touring it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Joshua.
I kind of get that.
I know what he's saying.
I don't love doing the air quotes touristy shit.
I know what he's saying, but
he could, yeah.
I know. Air quotes.
He's on his own.
He had his own vibe, man.
Yeah, he's on his own thing. He's a person of the world. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. Well, he's definitely braver than me, so
yeah,
he did his thing, and I did enjoy his video a lot because I wouldn't do it, so it was fun to watch him do it.
Well, that's good.
So go watch them. So
Well,
yeah,
thanks
that's the
for your story.
Catacombs.
That was awesome.
I'm glad you liked it.
That was way more fun than your previous stories have been lately.
That's all right. Don't worry. We're going to the dark again.
Oh, man.
The dark.
I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Well, you got to think about it. Someone needs to give us some suggestions. Hello.
Yeah, email us.
Email us some
Speaking
suggestions.
of that, you can email us at killerspiritspod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at killerspirits, on Instagram at killerspiritspod, on Patreon at patreon.com/killerspirits, which is where we post our
pictures.
Doobly-doos.
Doobly-doos.
Our videos
Yeah.
of us making the drinks with recipes. And and we're also on TikTok at killerspiritspod.
Yeah, and go rate and review.
Rate and review us.
We would love it.
We would love it. And I don't know, reach out to us. We'd like to hear from you guys.
And we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.